There you go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the kickoff of this 4-week leadership series. Um, no, I'm not Julia Carty. This is Rosalind Payne. I'm a Diamond Senior Gold Ambassador, and I am your up line. So I am pinch hitting for Julia tonight because she has very shoddy cell service and Wi-Fi service because she's down at the beach, and the neighborhood that they're in is a newer neighborhood, and so she's working and Jared's working feverishly to kind of get the Wi-Fi booster going in their area. But so I shared with her that I would hop on and do this. She's going to be here. I see a little window with her in it, so she will be here, but she's not sure if she's going to vanish. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of run this for us tonight, and I'm excited to see all you guys. I've missed so many of y'all. This is so fun to see y'all. Okay, I want to start off though, before we kind of roll into the leadership series. I want to hear from two incredible women on this team here who got the opportunity to attend Gold School in Washington, D.C. Wow, wow, wow. Incredible location. And I can't wait to hear from them, hear from the horse's mouth, and we'll go ahead and start hearing from Kelly. Kelly, would you like to share about a couple minutes of your takeaways from Gold School?
Happy to do it. Okay, raise your hand for me if you've been to a corporate sponsored event before. Okay, so several of us have. And like if you've gone to convention, which is wonderful, you know that there are all kinds of people there. And so the information that we receive, it's painted with a pretty broad
progress.
Okay, yeah, we're good. Okay, pretty broad brushstroke at convention. But having been to both Ruby's on the Rise now and Gold School, I'm telling you, if it's anywhere within your power to get there, go, because it's so very specific. It is just the ultimate training for exactly where you are at that moment. And so this is the first time I had gone to a Gold School, and completely blown away by the caliber of the speakers and the training that we received, and the setting was incredible. It's always beautiful. But the one thing I want you to hear from me the most is how incredibly blessed we are, number one, to have Genevieve Scory as our Director of Field Marketing, and she puts a little parentheses under her title called Truth Teller. She's a truth teller, right? So she's going to tell you the truth. It was fascinating to hear her story about how she came to this industry, what it was that caught her eye and pulled her out of corporate America into network marketing. I'm not going to tell her story for her, but I sure hope you get a chance to hear it sometime, because it's fascinating to see what was it that made her say yes. And a quick little teaser is that it had a lot to do with how much fun we have, because we have so much fun in this business. But y'all, she was training in one particular session on the topic of making a business ask, and going through, like, she's rocking with her training, and it's all fascinating, and we're writing as fast as we can. And she overheard someone mumble under their breath, "Yeah, but then what?" And she stopped and she said, "Leaders, did you hear that? They don't know what to do." And so for the next 10 minutes, she completely went off script, and she gave us the most concise formula for then what. And I loved it. And I want you to hear it. The first thing she said was, "Tell me more about that, because you're moving into a phase that she calls phase 1, and that is discovery." So I'm going to look at my notes because it's too good not to mess up. She said, "This is what I want you to do. I want you to enjoy this process. Take a deep breath, clear your mind, repeat to yourself, I am not here to sell a welcome pack. I'm here to get to know this precious human." And what she encouraged us to say is, "Great. Because the first thing that I want to do is to understand the best way that I can help you." She says that recruiting is mostly listening. And so she's like, lean into this part, lean in, listen really closely. Say, so tell me, what's going on? What's going on in your life? And then listen. Your second phase after discovery is empathy, responding empathetically with, I agree, that is really scary. Whatever the need is, whether it's finances or the desire to stay home with their children or all the things that we know that Plexus can help with, respond with empathy. I've experienced the same thing before with my kids. And what you're doing is you're building connection, establishing that credibility and letting them know they've been heard, they've been seen, they are valued. The third step in this process, she said, now I want you to use your system. Whatever your system is on your team, whether that is to start a 3-way chat, to put them on a 3-way phone call with them, yourself, your sponsor, send them testimonials that connect with who they are. And she said, to be honest, we have great videos and you could send a video, but I want you to build a bridge of connection first. Send a testimonial that you know that they will connect with. And then she said, never underestimate the power of your own story. And ask them, if it's okay, may I share with you why we got involved? And then you tell your story from the beginning of what you have earned, stressing this from working. And it doesn't matter. It's $35 that you've earned because you've signed up one person and that allowed you to take your kids to Chick-fil-A without cringing. That means something to someone who doesn't have that $35. If it's $200 that you're making and you have found a way to pay for uniforms for travel ball or to go to a bed and breakfast with your husband, if it's $500 and you are able to put tires on your daughter's car, and you can go to sleep at night and you're not worried about that. These are the stories that connect, that mean way more to someone who's just looking at this than the mega story of what's available from those that have gone before us. And can you share that? Absolutely. You can share that. You totally can. Y'all, we are on the most successful team in the history of this company because we're all under Celeste. Can you tell her story? Sure you can. But you want to build that bridge of connection. So to me, that was 10 minutes of pure gold right off the top of her head. She's amazing. And there's so much more to share, but we also want to hear from Richie, and she's going to tell us what her takeaways were.
Richie, you need to unmute, hun.
Mm-hmm. Love you.
Hey, Rhonda, you're not muted.
Whoops, sorry.
It's okay. Can you find it, Rich? It's at the bottom of the screen.
Sorry, I had this light on here and I couldn't find my buttons.
All right, Richie, share with us some quick takeaways that you have from Gold School, hun.
Okay, mine are going to be pretty quick. This was my first corporate event and I was just blown away. I've worked in government for 35 years. They don't care who you are. Just go to work and do your job. When you see the founder of this company showing up and staying all weekend with us, I couldn't believe it. I mean, that just doesn't happen. Most companies, you never see the people at the top. You just don't. And there were some things that he mentioned that I thought were important, a few points that he made. And one of them was to be intentional and that there's a person and a story behind every Plexus ID. And the third thing was we are one Plexus, a community that is sharing hope, health, and happiness. And like I said, I was just fascinated that he stayed all weekend and his family was there. And then I got to meet Jen Hawkins and Celeste Gwynn. Celeste Gwynn and I seem to have been on the same bathroom schedule all weekend. I don't know. It was kind of funny. But, she's the top earner in the company. My goodness. And she was sitting a couple tables over from us, just like one of us. And I had the opportunity to meet her and to speak with her briefly. And she was telling Kelly and I that she was there to learn just like we were. She was there to get inspired again and to learn and for the community. She said, I need this. And and then we had a little bit more of a conversation about our whys and stuff. And it was, she's just like we are. She I don't know. Everybody there was just so real. And to be in a room full of like-minded people who are all encouraging each other and cheering each other on, it was just fascinating. I just never experienced anything like that. And I was telling Kelly at one point, she had asked me how I felt about it or what I was getting out of it, or would I recommend it or something. And I said, this is one of those things that you can tell somebody how great it was all day long, but until they have the chance to stand in that room and experience those feelings, you can't explain it. It's something you have to feel. And I want each and every one of you, if you get the chance to attend whatever event it is, whether it's an event like this or if it's convention, do it, because your cup will be filled 100 times over.
Well, thank you so much, Richie. Thank you for sharing with us tonight. Some of y'all that have just hopped on, the reason I'm here, y'all know this is Roz. Hi. Julia has really shoddy Wi-Fi, and so it's coming in and out. So I told her I would kind of head this up for her tonight. So I hope I'm not here to disappoint, because I know we all love our Julia, but I am excited to be with you guys tonight. Thank you, Kelly and Richie, so much for sharing. We had about, I think, 16 from the power team that were there. And if you all know, you all are on the power team. That's our grader team. My direct upline is Celeste Gwynn. We have been friends for 15 years, and I joined under her back in 2013. So it's been a wild ride, and it's just amazing what this team has turned into. We have new RSMs now that have been assigned to us at corporate, and our new RSM for my region in Texas is Nick Clark, who's Alex's son. He's one of the coaches now. And it's really neat to hear Nick talk about our greater team, and that's you all included. I mean, you guys have forged quite an amazing reputation at corporate, and they are just in awe of the community in this team. And I'm so proud of you guys. I mean, and I was talking to Julia about y'all. We've been talking a lot this week, and her team, the people directly under Julia and all of you all, it's the community you all have built, and the way you all show up is unlike many of my other lines. You all are, you're intentional, and just, I see you all slaying these goals every month, and you guys attaining all this stuff. And it's so impressive. And I'm so proud. And corporate sees it. Corporate's like, what's going on down there? And I'm like, it's just an incredible group of people that have all come together, and they're all just forging forward with the same goal in mind: to be entrepreneurs, to be independent, and to be able to make something amazing of this and support their families and do something beautiful with this line of products that we know are legit. So that's the benefit to all of this, is that we have something in our grasp that other people want, and that it's consumable and people use on a daily basis. So we're kind of set up as a win-win. So the fact that you guys have such great character and integrity and have such a great name in this business, I thank you guys. So it's awesome. So, okay, I'll put a cork in it, and I will jump into what we're supposed to talk about here. So you all, this is a leadership series from Brittany Howard's amazing podcast called LeadHerShip. And you all are breaking this up in four-week segments. So the first week is we were going over chapter 1, which was becoming a leader people want to follow. There was a little video, it was about a 20-minute video that hopefully most of you all watched. If you didn't, we'll kind of go over a little bit, a summary of it here. She really laid out becoming a leader and why people want to follow a leader, what makes people want to follow a leader. And the first step is that just knowing that leadership, plain and simple, is influence. And I know you all, when people will always say, I just wish I could find a business builder. I wish I could find someone who really wants the business. You're always looking for somebody with influence because you'll say it. You always say, oh my gosh, I found somebody. They're amazing. They could slay this because they've got friends who look up to them, and they've got their, whatever new lipstick they buy, everybody buys. And, when they share a recipe, everybody jumps on, and they're so well respected. All those characteristics that I'm laying out is somebody.
My gosh, is it pouring?
Somebody mute. Somebody that has it. Kelly, could you go through and mute everybody? Because there's a couple people here who just aren't muted. It's coming through on my side. Okay, thanks. All right, I'll get back to it. So the cool thing is, though, some people will say, but Rosalind, I don't feel like I have really good influence. Y'all, influence can be learned, and you can grow an influence. And how do you do that? By adding value. By adding value to other people's lives. When there is something that you can bring to other people's lives that makes them listen to you, want to hear from you, respect you, interested in your take on something, that is influence. And this is something that she talked about in the beginning of her, kind of the first 15 minutes of her podcast. And she talks a lot about adding value, period. And the quickest way to add value is to help people solve problems. This is something that I know John Viev talked a lot about, is at the end of the day, we're helping people solve problems, whether that means with their health or with their finances. And people often, especially on social media, will be very honest and open about their problems. I think, sometimes misery loves company, and that kind of helps us. And I know that sounds weird, but let me let me spell this out for you. When somebody is out there on social media and they are venting to their audience about their insomnia, about how exhausted they are, about all the things, about their struggles, that gives you space to step in there and private message them and say, hey girl, I listen. I've been there. I've had nights where I don't sleep, and it is absolutely miserable. But if I could share with you really quick how this probiotic I have and this Mega X knocks me out every night, girl, you would love it. You could try this for 2 months or get all your money back. She could actually say, you mean I can actually try this and this actually I can get a refund? Absolutely. 2 full months. Try it for 2 full months, you get all your money back. It's a complete win-win. If you're interested, just let me know. And I go away. And then all of a sudden she's like, okay, you know what? Hey, maybe I'll give that a try. I've solved a problem. She tries it, it works. I've solved her problem. From a business standpoint, somebody is just horrified that their husband was just laid off, and they share it on social media. This is just a struggling time. Please pray for us. My husband has 6 more weeks, and then, we've got to figure out, he's got to figure out a new career path because he's kind of at a standstill. And you can slip in there and say, hey, listen, I don't know if this is for you. And I'm sure that you are in quite a bind. But let me tell you, this situation that I'm in, this business that I've built, this kind of that I'm in, I'm able to have a safety net for my family. I'm able to bring in a little extra when I first started just to help cover some medical bills. And it turned into something beautiful. If you are interested at all, it's something you could do from your phone, piece of cake. Let me walk you through it if you're interested. If not, just know I'm here. I'd love to be, answer any questions you might have. I will leave messages like this on people's phones all the time to solve problems. And y'all, sometimes people will ghost you, and that's fine. But guess what? I've just laid a little breadcrumb, right? I've laid a tiny foundation so that if I circle back and hear it and bring it up again because they're complaining about something financial, I can say, hey, if you're ever interested, just know I'm always here. I'm always here. And then maybe that third time, you're like, hey, girl, I see you. And just know that I'm praying for you. And she reaches back and says, okay, I know, I'm ready. Tell me about it. You've just solved a problem. You've just stepped in there and added value, and you've solved a problem. So I have a question here I'm going to pose for you guys. So share with me, and I would love to hear this because I like this, hearing about this as much as I do like hearing testimonies. Somebody here share about a time when you full on feel like you solved a problem that, and it surprised you. And I've got a lot of these stories, but think about it a little bit. Has there ever been a time when you've shared Plexus And it has been so, and you got the message or you got anything, and the success of it surprised you and took you aback. Anybody? I'll go ahead and share an example so I can kind of get your wheel spinning. I was just, when I first started Plexus, I just thought I was selling products. That's all I thought. I thought this was a sales job, didn't understand leadership, didn't understand residual income. I was just in it because I thought it was a commission-based company and that's all that you do. We didn't know a lot back then. This was 10 years ago. And I remember getting a message, like it was about my 5th or 6th week with Plexus from a husband. And he said, Rosalind, I just want to thank you so much for saving my wife. She has been in a season of depression. She's struggling with severe autoimmune pain and fibromyalgia, and she's just riddled with anxiety, and she hasn't left the house. And we haven't gone on dates. We haven't even looked each other in the eyes in months. And I was losing my wife. And she decided to give these crazy little products you have a try. And I'm getting my wife back. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for saving my marriage and saving. And I'm hearing this and I'm thinking, you have got to be kidding. This and that one moment was like a huge paradigm shift for me in this business, because I realized, okay, we're doing something way bigger. This is way bigger than just selling a product, than just making some commission off of something. This is actually something that goes in and changes people's lives for the better. That surprised me. How many of you all have ever gotten a message, a text out of the blue? Yeah, Melissa, share an example of a text that you got out of the blue.
Mine was just a girl that she has been divorced, single forever, struggled with her weight, wasn't very outgoing, and she did reset a little bit back and started to lose some weight. And she started texting me saying, for the first time in my life, I could come home from work and go out for a walk. And then it kind of spiraled into, her confidence. She's really a different person. She's actually supposed to go to convention with me, but just changed into a total different person. Her whole demeanor, the way she looks, she just glows now. And it all started from her doing the reset, continuing the products, feeling better. And just, she texts me all the time. Like, it's just amazing. I'm just not the same person I used to be.
So to see the value that you added in her life, those kind of situations, I love to remind her of that added value, because there will be times when might want to work the business a little bit and she struggles and she forgets the blessing that is Plexus. So for people like that have such a beautiful story, I like to make sure that I have them share that story often. In a group of people, this is my friend so-and-so, you got to hear her story. She can share her story and she's going to get the natural response, which we would all give her, like, amazing. And that little feeling of pride that she's going to feel will constantly remind her of the power of this business and will continue to build her belief and will keep her in the game. That's why a lot of people, like, there's a lot of you on here that you've been on our team for a long, long time. And I heard your testimony back in 2015, never heard it again. And I forgot. And so we'll be hanging out and you guys might be sharing something about your testimony. And I'm like, what? You've been on the team this long and you haven't been sharing that? That's amazing. That's life changing. That's incredible. And I think times we will share our story and then we just stop. We don't share it anymore just because we're like, oh, no, they haven't. You have new people joining this team every single day. I mean, we have at least 800 to 1,000 people joining the Power Team a month. So these are new, fresh people on all these, you guys, that you can build belief in. Because remember, anybody you build belief in, even if it's a sideline, everybody that is successful with their business, buying $100, spending $100, having $100 PV, you know what that's doing? That's raising our pay point. So that's why it's always like, go big with one Plexus, do all the things, because the more that we get, more our arms get wrapped around everybody and we all rise together, it's going to increase the success in all of us. Okay, I'm totally rabbit tracking one plexus right now. So let me jump back on our leadership. Okay, so that is adding value by solving people's problems and the benefit to that. Okay. Also, another way to add value is to seek out information on something that you're interested in and share this on social media. Okay. This is where the birth of influencers came from, right? I mean, influencers came up when, social media got so big, and there were specific people that a lot of people like to follow, whether they do beautiful makeup, they're amazing cook, they're a really wise public speaker on mindset, whatever the topic may be. People follow them for their information. Now, I've heard a lot of people Mountain Mind Shift Retreat. So I heard some of y'all say out loud,
Okay, Roz, if you can hear us, you froze for a minute. Hopefully she'll come back. Is she frozen for y'all too? Yeah, okay. That's too bad. I really wanted to hear what she had to say. I wonder if she knows. Looks like she might have gotten kicked off and she's trying to hop back on.
I'm coming. Sorry.
Hey, no problem. Thank you for coming back.
Sorry, y'all. That happened on Real People, Real Stories the other day, and it was so embarrassing. So I just changed. I've got a booster here, so I just flipped to the booster. At night, everybody on my street is using their Wi-Fi, so I get booted off. Anyway, I don't know where I got cut off. I was probably frozen like this. So I'll just tell you, no matter what your life is like, other people are interested in that. If you live out in the country, all y'all that live in the South, okay, y'all, where you live is beautiful. And just sitting on the back porch and having your camera going and seeing birds, and I can hear the birds in the background, I will just sit and listen. I'm fascinated by it. People who, are renovators, before and afters, if you have a hobby, and it can be something so small, learn about the hobby and share about it. You'll be shocked at the people who start following you. And if other people have your same interest, engage with them. It's so simple, and that's a simple way to add value. And people will start listening. Let's use the chicken example. You have chickens, you're raising chickens. I just saw the other day online on Instagram, some girl growing some seed from corn in a mason jar and made organic food for her chickens. I was like, brilliant. I don't even have chickens. So I'm now sending this information to all my friends who on Instagram who are raising chickens. And now they're all going to go try to do this. I've completely engaged with all these people. Now all of a sudden, chicken people are coming up on my feet because that's how it works. And I'm like, I don't really even know chickens. I'm not, per my homeowners association, we're not allowed to have any type of farm animals at all, much to my chagrin, because I would be full on chicken lady if I could. But that being said, those people, they teach me things, and I'm fascinated by it. If you're interested in cars, if you're interested in, in makeup application, if you're interested in anything, start engaging with those folks and then share your knowledge, because the more you share your knowledge, the more influential you will be. People will be interested. They'll be like, oh, Dave cooked some amazing braised ribs last week. I'm going to watch him. And then they're sharing your stuff. And all of a sudden, you're influential because you are bringing information that you learned from others. So does anybody here have a, kind of a lane that they're in social media from a influencer standpoint? It might not even be influencer, like thousands of followers. but something that you do when you kind of have followers, kind of like my chicken example. Anybody? Come on. I know some of y'all. I know some of y'all because I watch some of y'all for random things. You'd be surprised.
I was
I
trying to
do.
unmute. I couldn't get unmuted.
Okay.
Hey, no. So for me, I talk a lot about, my experience in corporate America, going through job loss, company culture, hiring, all those things, and I talk about it frequently because I'm still seeing. It's every week I have people that reach out to me telling me there's a layoff, they're letting people go, and these are people that I've connected with over the last couple of decades. So it is something that continues to happen, and I think it just plays really well into encouraging people to do something else like this,
Yeah, Dave, I think that's a perfect example. Exactly what I'm talking about. Because he has been verbal about his situation and authentic and honest about it, others are like, oh my gosh, me too, Dave, me too. And then they have somebody to talk to and that has sat in that space before and that they can share with, where normally they're just going to be sitting in a house by themselves so they've been laid off. And it might lead to depression, it might lead to whatever, but he's added value to their life because he said, I've been there too. So all of a sudden they have someone to go through Dave. Dave, if you've ever watched Corporate Natalie, go follow her on Instagram. Hilarious girl from corporate America that does spoofs on Zoom calls for corporate America. And she's one of my favorites. And I follow her like crazy. And I see the people commenting underneath are all from corporate America. I spent 19 years in corporate America and advertising agencies, so I can hop on there and I can relate and I can engage. And it's fun. And so that was a great example. I didn't even think about that from corporate America standpoint. So I'm sure you all see where we're going with that. And everybody had, there was the whole niche vibe going on, about a year and a half ago where everybody was looking for a niche. I don't even think the niche has to be that specific. It can be a personality trait. It could be something as your pet peeves. You know what I mean? And in a funny, silly way, you do like spoofs and you have your kids recreate a pet peeve that you have. And you just video your kids every day doing a hilarious pet peeve of yours, getting in their plastic cars and recreating things. I mean, silly stuff that you're doing just because it's fun. It's fun memories with your kids and your kids like to be involved with you. But you're actually adding humor and adding value to the social media space. Okay, so that's another lane, was adding value from something that you've learned. Also, having a positive attitude is going to be huge in being influential. People, misery loves company. We talked about that a little bit earlier, but there are people out there who are just flat out life giving. Like, I like to watch them because I know I'm going to leave that moment better than I came. And I think it's easy when we're kind of in a bad mood or kind of sour or something to kind of throw something up on social media, right? About how we're just kind of like, wah, wah. It's like anybody else having the worst Monday ever. You know what I mean? And sometimes, you kind of catch yourself doing that. But if you flip that and say, anybody else count their blessings this morning and just so grateful for where we are right now? And I mean, all of a sudden people are like, you know what? I guess I am blessed. I guess things are better. You say little positive things, you flip the script a little bit, and people will start listening. Because if you are not life-giving, you're kind of life-sucking, people are going to stop listening to you. Oh, here she goes again. Oh, here he goes every time he's on there. Do you see? And so you're going to lose influence that way. You're going to lose influence fast that way. Let's see. Being focused too, more on possibilities than problems. So my question here, and this was kind of a neat way that she put it. I think she worded things in a really unique way. Can you guys share with me some possibilities in this business? Let's see, what did I say? That you can share about that you had with a struggling VIP or an ambassador. Was there a situation that you stepped in and you feel like you were able to turn a situation from maybe they were a naysayer, maybe they were a skeptic, and you were able to turn that into a positive to where now they step into our team in this space with a positive attitude? Does anybody have an example of that where you experienced that in your business? I mean, I was a huge skeptic when I started. I wanted nothing to do with this business. And when Celeste first came to me and she was like, Roz, you got to do this with me. Let's go. We need to do this. I'm like, absolutely not. That's the last thing I'm going to do is go do network marketing. I mean, who even is successful in that? I mean, I was such a negative Nelly. I shot it down with every ounce of my being. And she and all my friends like circled the wagons and just kept writing me. They were like, Roz, you're the only one of us that works 50, 60 hours a week. And why are you the only one of us that's not jumping on this when we're all laying out by the pool and making residual income, you know? And so slowly with their positivity and slowly with just their words of, you know, there was nothing bad coming from Plexus. And they shared that with me over and over and over. And that finally brought me to a more open mind state where I was actually able to be like, okay, fine. And when my husband finally like, babe, we should probably do this to solve it, you know, to pay for a medical bill. I listened because my friends had been beating me down enough, but with the positive aspects, with the possibilities of what this could be. And I know the Lord walked me through that season, y'all, because now I know exactly how skeptics feel. I know what they're thinking. I know how dug in their heels are. And now I can step in and have a conversation with them and be like, girl, I know exactly how you feel. And I'll like say things that I know they're thinking and it kind of freaks them out. And they're kind of looking at me like, how did you know that? But I've been there and I've experienced that. And I think being for me now stepping into talking to people like that, being more focused on the possibilities of this business, I think that can completely change things. And this communicates belief. It communicates vision. And it communicates hope more than anything. When you lay out when my friends were laying all these, you know, ideas out, Roz, you know, you won't have to work anymore. Roz, you know, you can go to lunch with us and shop, which is really what Celeste tells me she really wanted to do. She's like, I just want you to go shopping with me. And so, and it was because it was very funny back then because we had no idea what this could be. We didn't know it was going to become this just incredible, you know, and out of that little school of 600 kids, we had 11 jewels developed out of that little bitty school. I mean, and it was because we all were together. We just championed forward. When people say, how do you get momentum and how do you build leadership on your team in momentum like that? When you get along like-minded folks and all of you forge forward with that same just almost just same confidence and same just full on positive, like people would try to shoot holes in our plexus all the time. And we're like, oh girl, you have no idea. So then people walk away from the conversation and they're like, shoot, maybe I don't have an idea. Maybe I should look at this. And we did. I mean, because for a long time, network marketing was not the coolest kid in the school, right? I mean, we had to change that. We had to completely change the public's, you know, the persona of what network marketing was. And it, you know, when you get enough of you together and everybody's jumping off the bridge and everyone's looking skinnier and healthier and making a lot of money doing it and blessing their families and then being able to build up other leaders and do that, people, I mean, we had, like I say, half of the staff of the school was on Plexus at that time. I mean, everybody wanted a piece of it. So, you know, if you can get your leaders and all of you agree, let's roll this common goal. Let's step into this season with a different vibrancy, you know, shouting out more people on pages, you know, pouring into people more. And there's all this excitement going on in the pages. Stuff's going on happy all the time, but we need to talk about it a little bit more. The more we talk about it, of all this neat stuff that's happening, the more people are like, I guess we are blessed. I guess this is pretty amazing. And it's easy to forget. So I like that she added this in here. And then let's see, lastly, she talked about being interested in people. And I thought this was great. And being interested in people and being consistent. These are her last two things. Being interested in people. I think this has been probably the number one most surprising aspect of being a leader in Plexus for me. I did manage before when I was in advertising. I was a media director, so I had a team. It wasn't very big, maybe 12 people at the most. But I realized that all my people came from a different standpoint, from a different background. You know, some people were red, some people were yellow, some people were shy, some people were outgoing. And while I was at that job and then spilled that over into here, realizing that you need to communicate to each of these people very differently and be interested in who they are. She's a little bit more shy. She's a little bit more reserved. She's crazy outgoing and so type A, and she needs a list and she needs me to hold her accountable every day, and she loves it, and that pushes her. This person needs a carrot dangled. This person right here needs a contest and needs something. And I find out about these people. I find out what makes them tick. I find out what makes them, you know, for starters, you should know the whys of all your ones, twos, and threes of all your runners. You know your why of everybody, then you can support them more than you could ever imagine. So being interested, finding out all these details and people are going to turn back and they're going to be like, you know, that was really sweet. That was a great conversation. She kind of wants to know me more than just what can I do for her. Make notes on this, you guys. And then the next time you circle back, check in on her. How's your dad doing? I know he was struggling. You know, I know he was in the hospital. And, you know, I'm so excited that your daughter's, you know, about to graduate. Are you so excited? And she's thinking, I can't believe she remembers all this. Nobody remembers these details, but you did. And you brought that to the table, and they feel valued. And they, all of a sudden, you're somebody that they want to emulate because they're like, I love how she makes me feel. She always makes me feel seen. That's the type of leader you want to be. You want to be the type of leader that sees everybody, regardless of what rank they are, what level they are. It doesn't matter. They're on your team. The Lord placed them on your team for a reason, and you have influence over them. And if you take that influence and turn it into a positive, trust me, you're going to build up leaders because all they're going to want to do is emulate what you're doing because you make them feel so good. And lastly, like I said, it's consistency. Being completely, and I want to hear from you guys. Share with me what you all think consistency looks like from a leader standpoint. And I want to hear from somebody who hasn't spoken yet. I see a couple girls on my middle line here. Lisa Joy, Christy Freeman. Hi, Christy. Y'all tell me what consistency looks like in terms of you adding value and being influential as a leader. What is something that your downline would look at and say, man, they're just consistent. That's just, I love it because she always shows up. Give me some examples of that. Y'all are silent.
I have a non-example of that.
What?
I have a non-example of that. Telling myself.
Okay.
So it's May. I'm a teacher. That's all I need to say. Anyway, I guess on May 1st was a Monday, and I posted the rally chat for my, my group, and then I missed the kickoff rank up call because of something, I don't know what it was, and so like a third or fourth round, and one of my downline messaged me. She's like, "Girl, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?" She's like, "Well, I was worried about you because you didn't post anymore in the rally chat. You weren't on the rank up call." And I thought she like totally noticed that I was missing.
Wow,
and
that is a great example, Christy. Isn't that crazy? And you think no one's looking. You're like, they don't care. Oh, Christy, they do. Isn't that crazy? How did you respond to that? What did you say?
Well, first I was like, what is she talking about? I've been here. And then I realized that I completely forgot the rally chat. Like, I don't even know how it slipped my mind to go and post those things. And I was like, I am so sorry. It has been so crazy. And I that call right back up. And so, then we chatted, and I thought, it's been just not long we chatted, but still, she's new and working, and yeah, she noticed I was missing. So I just said, I'm sorry. I'll do better.
That's good. And I'm glad you shared that, because we've all done that before. You know what I mean? There always is the person that you fell through the cracks and you forgot to follow up, and then when you do follow up, you're like, hey, just checking on you. They're like, yeah, I haven't heard from you in like 3 months. And you're like, oh my gosh, and you feel so bad. And you're like, but then you're like, I'm going to do better. You deserve better. And you wanted this. And you don't know that person. You might be the only Plexus person that they know. So they're emulating whatever you're doing. So if if I'm dropping my ball right and left, then people might be like, well, that's just kind of how Plexus works, I guess. Being consistent, showing up. If you have a call weekly, showing up to the call. And if you can't be somewhere, or if you do make a mistake, you guys own it immediately. Like I love that Christy shared that. That's very authentic. I mean, we've all done it. Own it. Own it. Say, I am so sorry. I missed X, Y, and Z. And expect everybody to be as honed in as that ambassador was on Christy, because that will hold you accountable. That will make you kind of want to rise a little bit and be like, okay, someone's gonna miss out. And if you can't be at something, just get someone to cover. But that consistency gives people comfort, because they know that you're always going to be there. They know they can depend on you, and they know they can trust you. If you guys have not had a chance to listen to this podcast, it's short. It was brilliant. I thought she did a fabulous job. She's an incredible leader, very strong diamond. She is on the advisory board. She and Christina Williams are best friends, and they are a force to be reckoned with. They stepped into this and treat this like a business, period. Yes, they have friends on. Yes, they have their friends on their teams. Yes, they have, relatives and all the things, but they know when it's work time, they put on their business hat and they treat this like a business. But the best part of it is it's your business. You own it. You're an entrepreneur. You can do whatever you want with it. So you can make it this beautiful, warm place of an amazing culture where you're just building up leaders. You're building up people who, and the best thing too is when you build up leaders enough that they can go off and be independent. They can fly out the nest and they don't need you anymore. Don't be careful, because some people will be like, what, she doesn't need me anymore? What, she didn't tell me about the call? She did something without me? It stings a little bit, right? We're like, there are babies, and they're all, just like your kids have to grow up and head off to college, like mine just have done. You have to just step back and say, job well done. And then that frees up your time to shift to somebody new and build leadership in somebody new. And that person that's working autonomously, that's 100% residual income. Let's look at it from a business standpoint. You can turn that off. You can still love on them and support them, but they've got it. And now you can move on and start building up your leadership, increasing, adding value to all these new individuals and bringing new individuals into your fold, therefore building your team that much greater. So that's all we have for tonight on Brittany's call. I hope I didn't do this a disservice. I'm not sure exactly how Julia was going to facilitate this, but I just kind of did my own thing here. So it was fun being with you guys tonight. If you guys have any questions on anything that I said, or you want to peel back some of this a little bit more, just let me know. You guys are, we're all one big team. You guys are welcome to reach out to me if you ever have a question. I love seeing some of your faces. I don't get to see you guys very much because you guys are so well taken care of. See, this is Julia. I don't have to ever step in because, unless there's such, we always have each other's back, but Julia's got this. And I just love her leadership, and I love, how well you guys are engaged and rocking your business. So I hope to see everybody at convention. We just secured a space for our Power Team mixer. Last time we went to the Bristol. I saw a lot of you guys there. That was that karaoke bar in Columbus. We had a blast. So we've just rented out an entire restaurant called the Bottle Cap in the 12 South area of Nashville. If you know Nashville, it's where a lot of those murals are. So get there with your team a little early, and you can walk down and get the I Love Nashville. They do murals all over the place. But 12 South is this area right by the colleges, right by Belmont and Vanderbilt. And it's a really sweet little safe area. It's only like maybe not even 2 miles from Broadway. So it'll be a very inexpensive Uber ride, just kind of like the Bristol was. It was about the same distance. So just come on over. It'll be 7 to 9 on Saturday night. I think there's a little gold party right before it. But most people are going to swing by. We'll have food, we'll have drinks, we'll have all the things, and I'll have a really fun graphic put together by tomorrow and sent out to everybody. We already have a lot of people coming and a lot of people excited. So it's open for all of Power Team. So every one of you here is invited. So thank you guys so much for coming tonight. I hope you guys have a fabulous week. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care and go Plexus. Bye, y'all.
Bye.